Muscle power fully up! Muscle power fully up! Muscle power fully up! Muscle power fully up! anymore.
What's happening? They attack! Nightmare!
did it!
Hello, this is Too Many Userday, and welcome to a secondary episode of Street Fighter V's combo cartography. So if you're new here and you're just looking at this video, probably thinking like, what the hell is going on? Basically, it's just a combo route map, as much as I could find anyways, for any given character. And I just basically go along and look at their routes, just offer some general observations on some of their strengths. The maps don't offer damage numbers or frame data. This is just meant for people to come back in a few years and just pick up the game and go, hey, how does that combo work? Oh, this is the route, sweet. And maybe people are just wanting to play it a bit casually just to enjoy it again, right? And disclaimer, if I miss anything, please don't get mad at me. It's hard to figure everything out for one character and then move along to another one. But if you do notice a potential route missing, please leave a comment in the video below. And yeah, let's make it so that other people in the future can enjoy using ZANGIEF. So this is the document I'm working on, and it's just, yeah, it's not too big. Zangief's a really simple character. To be honest, this was my first map, first character that I wanted to map out, because I figured he didn't have very extensive combos and such. So, yeah, it's just like 5 pages, I think, worth of combo routes that are just my notes anyways. So, instead of looking at it this way, I'm going to bring up an alternative means so we can just break him down in smaller chunks, alright? Alright, let's get this started. Looking at Zangief stuff, so in chunks. I'm going to try my best not to get sidetracked and talk too much about them because I actually use them. So basic aesthetics, sound stuff, blocked animations, throws, jumping attacks, what they're good for. Let's see here. In terms of jumping attacks, what's a good one to mention? I'll mention one thing, and it would be, let's see, I think the jumping forward is pretty good as a jump in. It's got some nice reach on it, and you can go into a standing short into lariat, so pretty nice. His roundhouse has more reach though, so maybe you'll want to opt out for that one. In terms of standing stuff, what's a good button to talk about? I want to talk about his towards and fierce. So it's his headbutt, right? It's advantageous on block. I think it's +2. Easy to hit confirm into critical art or subsequent combo routes. One thing that's worth noting is it does nullify a single hit from a projectile, and it earns good meter. So I find that from my personal experience, when I was learning Zangief, I would take too much damage trying to get in, because that's the mentality of a grappler. It's like, oh, I don't have any long range moves. I need to get in there and throw their ass. But you don't have to do an SPD just to do damage. There's other ways to go about it. So early on, what I did was back off and just let them feed me meter. So maybe the other player didn't realize what they were doing, but I'd have like 2 stocks of EX meter, and if you have 3 stocks and you land 3 EX moves, man, that does more than a critical art, and it gets in their head real fast. So yeah, in terms of crouch, probably the most worthwhile one to talk about is crouch jab, serving them plates. It's a really good poke. You can get 2 to 4 tops if you're close up, but you might want to micro step and then crouch jab frequently, and just push the opponent to the corner so that you can counter them more predictably or land your command grab. So here's the legend. So there's a squiggly line for stemming from a counter hit. So for instance, let's talk about, what's a good example here? Okay, so you're doing a stand jab here, right? And then it says squiggly line stand jab. For this secondary stand jab to work, it means the first one has to be a counter hit. So counter hit, stand jab, then you can do another stand jab, then you can fall into one of these 3 options, or more options, whatever it may be. So that's what the squiggly line is for. The arrow is for links, so you would just link into this jab, jab, into crouch jab, for instance, another one, into something else. Double arrow means 2 in 1 cancel, so same example, stand jab from a counter hit, or just jab, I guess. You can just go into special, like a lariat. And for Zangief in particular, there will be these notes saying except Tundra, because you can't cancel into that special move. And then you can go into a lariat. Lariat has a close and a far version, and depending on how you do the stand jab, it can be either or. And then another option is you can go into VT2. You know what, before I move on, let's just look at his special moves, even if they are a bit limited, because the way to go about learning a fighting game combo route is to maybe look at the end and then go back 1 step, because the basic structure is, oh, you have a normal that goes into a special move that goes into a critical art, basically. So he doesn't have too many things that can combo from, I don't think he has anything actually that combos from like a special move into a critical art, but let's just look at these in turn. They'll make the notes above make more sense. So Thunderstorm, this is that kick counter. Not everyone has a kick for you to grab. Once you commit to this, you're in a counter hit state, so if they don't kick and you just do your pose, they can hit you for counter hit damage, which kind of sucks, but it's a really cool move to just mentally shake them. Some characters spam certain kicks, so you'll fight camis that use standing forward a lot. You'll fight sets that use their twirl kick, whatever it's called. You'll find Alex players that spam their standing roundhouse. You just grab that leg, do your dragon twist move, and then make them pay. This move is not useless though, because it's very fast to build meter. You build half the meter that all your other special moves would. So if you're sitting from full screen, you just keep spamming this. They might get irritated thinking you're taunting them, but you're actually just building meter, right? So it's a neat one, but you can't cancel this accidentally from special moves, so you have to commit to it. Screw pile driver. Excuse me. Weaker versions leave you farther away with less frame damage. You can dash in after to do stuff, but the fierce and EX ones are the most beneficial, obviously. And the range is gigantic. If you do, here's a test just to prove the point, because sometimes people get it confused. Your furthest reach is the jab version, followed by EX, then strong, then fierce. Fierce has pathetic range. There's a way to go about it, and it's to incorporate your V skill, but I'll talk about that after. If you can do a low forward, like a low medium kick, that means you're within jab SPD range. So the test, if you really want to see what the range is is go up point blank, jump backwards with a stand medium kick, and then you're within jab SBD range, just so you know, right? And then EX won't connect. Yeah. What else can you say? You can, I'm not sure if I should have kept this in here. It was kind of like my own strat because this was originally made by me for me, but one of the strategies I would use is, back off, build meter, so I could hit them harder, so that I wouldn't commit to as much damage taking by engaging the opponent. And I find that, excuse me, when you're in the corner, they tend to come in towards you, right, into your grab range, and it's kind of deceptive. One of the questions that people might have is like, well, if my back's to the corner and they hit me, is the pushback any less? And the answer is no. The pushback is consistent, just like if you're mid-screen. So if they're attacking you and you think like, oh, I'm not getting pushed back as much, that's not true. But you can deceive their range. And if they try to jump in on you, well, you're going to just lariat them. But next move, Siberian Express. They have different ranges depending on the kicks you use. It earns the most meter on whiff, so you'll see tournament players or advanced players, when they stun someone, they'll whiff this so they can get the most meter, and then they'll neutral jump combo. But the EX one's kind of neat. It's got 2 points of armor. I'm not quite sure how the first armor starts. It's never been very convenient, but he's got 2 pieces. Once he starts running, then he has another hit of armor. And you can cancel it from a stand short to just really throw them off. The EX one has less recovery it has more recovery once you land it, as opposed to the regular version. So if you try to dash afterwards, you're at minus something rather. It's not great as an anti-air, if that's what you're wondering. It can be used to blow up people's like attack strings if you're gutsy enough. It's a decent surprise move for sure. And yeah, note, short version, special cancel can whiff if not done from lights or from far range. Ugh. So be careful which strength you use. 360p in the air, that's Borscht Dynamite, so it's air SBD. Same thing like the regular screw pile driver, depending on the strength you use, you benefit. In terms of frame advantage with a dash afterwards. But you would suffer from range as well. So EX has the most range, jab, strong, and then fierce has the least amount of range. I tend to use his jab version just because I don't want to miss with it. You can at times use this to throw people off because you'll hang in midair before falling, so you can maybe bait a DP, but chances are they're gonna land and they're gonna punish you. So it's not always the best option. You can use it during a neutral jump or jumping towards them, and you can use a headbutt cancel into EX SBD, which is cool. And if you've got them in the corner, you can train yourself to do like a half circle forward, up forward into EX SBD. There are some scenarios where like if you're close to them, you can wait for them to jump back and still have time to like react and train yourself to grab them out of the air. It's pretty it's pretty funny. I haven't gotten that far yet, but it's pretty cool. And double lariat, projectile invul. It's a really nice anti-air or footsie tool if you have the reactions for that, or if you want to take the bet. Close proximity has a different version that does 20 damage. There's no EX version. You can lean towards or back, just like past iterations of this move. And the close version is the only one you can install V-trigger from. So it's a great benefit to his damage output, I find. Then he's got his critical art, and it's a 720 motion. You can link into it from various normals. The command fierce with the headbutt's probably the easiest one. You hit them, okay, start churning, and then if you time it well, you can combo into it. It's tricky to combo off his jabs because you'll probably get a 360 grab that comes out, and it's hard to time it or link it. I haven't quite developed a technique for it, and I wonder how other Zangief players do it. But his stand light kicks, his shorts, they're easier to combo into it for sure. So that's his special moves in a nutshell, right? So from certain normals, you might get a lariat that'll hit a far version instead of a close version. And if that's the case, then you can't do V-trigger install, right? So we'll just keep moving on here with his cooler moves. V skill 1, Iron Muscle. I think a lot of people don't know this, and I think a lot of people are perplexed by this. So when you're stationary and you flex, you actually get 2 hits of armor. And then when you start marching, walking forward, you get a reset amount of armor at 2 again. So if someone has like a 4-hit fireball, I think Akuma has an EX red fireball that does that. If I flex, I can take the 2 armor, and if I time it well, I can march forward and then take the rest of the 2. You take half damage with armor, and that's the universal case for everybody in this game. But it's a good way to move in. It's a good way to build V-gauge, and there are some other perks with it. Let's see what we got here. Oh my god, my brain is just going a mile a minute right now. I'm trying not to say too much. There's a technique where if you hold the buttons stationary, don't march forward, you'll flex. You'll do this little flex punch that is really annoying. If you let go of one of the buttons though, you will not flex. So you can really gauge whether or not you want to march forward and do the flex punch where you're more at advantage, or it's neutral, and so forth. So it's a good tool to have, I think. And you can also backdash from this thing. Another thing that's worth noting for his screw pile driver, that jab one has so much reach that if you backdash from them, you're still within range to grab them with an SPD. It can be pretty nasty seeing a defensive Zangief, I want to say. From his flex, I wonder why I didn't put that in here. Oh, I did put that in here. I just didn't write it the same way I used to. That flex punch is really... Oh wait, maybe I did put it in here. There it is. V skill flex. You can on hit cancel into critical art. On counter hit from the flex, you can do crouch short, crouch jab. You can try doing a lariat, but it'll whiff, so you should just stop at that point. Oh, I missed a note there. Oh well. I'll have to add that in later. Crouch jab into special, except Tundra. So I'll probably have to add a note in there as well. But we'll talk about that after. Or you can go into VTO 1, A, B, or C into critical art. Oh my god. Talk about that after. You got to be careful not to overuse this, because when you're taking too much gray life damage and they land another hit on you, it's not scaled. So they can do a lot of damage to Zangief for him taking this risk. One of the better ways to go about using this V skill is just flex, take the 2 hits of armor, and then see if it's safe enough to, flex punch or let go and just fierce SPD them, because you want to land SPD to give your gray life time to recover, basically. V skill 2, Super Russian Kick. This move, I want to say, replaced the Banishing Flat that people have been so missing. So he gets 1 hit of armor. He does this big kick with decent range. I think he's at -4, so he can get punished. So you got to be careful how to use it. But you can treat it like a focus attack, because you can dash forward or dash backwards just to move in more easily. On counter hit, it's really easy to notice the counter, indicator. Then you can do a stand short or crouch jab into a lariat just to punish them. Oh, stand short's better than this one. That's good to know. So you should stick with this kick route if you got a counter hit. But he can also charge it, and if it connects, then they end up doing a wall bounce, which is nice because you can follow up with stuff like Borscht Dynamite EX or resets. Pretty much any normal, if I'm not mistaken. Any air normals except headbutt. Oof, that's nice. There's an exception to that one. If they block this kick, it's a guard breach. So any combo that you do after is going to be scaled heavily. But this is the selection of buttons you can do. So you can use this list and go back up on the map just to see, oh, well, that means I can combo into this route. That'll be kind of cool. So He can't do command, or he can't do fierces at all. Standing fierces. Can't do command forward, but everything else looks like it's fair game, so that's pretty nasty. You can do a sweep and then maybe get better Oki. So yeah, very formidable move. I'm not a big fan of it. It's cool. But I guess the perk of it is that you'll be building V-gauge faster, right? It's hard to say, or more safely I want to say, because V-skill 1 you're taking damage and then you're hitting them with a flex to build up a little bit more meter. So they're balanced in that sense. All right, VT1. And this is, I think this will be beneficial to people fighting against Zangief as well as people using him. So, VT1. So there's the activation, right? And you can go into VT1, A, B, or C. So what are the differences? Where do I even start here? VT01, let's just go down this list. Tricky to activate safely based on the frame data. Like, you can only combo it from medium counter hits or heavies, or V-skill flex, which is probably the easiest one to do, but you're not getting a lot of damage. The last route you might want to consider is his lariat close up. So if you can hit confirm into a lariat, you can activate this. Or you can use it as a meaty, so that it's a bit safer. It is projectile invulnerable. You can pull in forward or back just like his lariat. It does have a vacuum effect, but it can be bad because before the person's hit by it and pulled in, they can press a button, and if they're getting pulled in, their button will have more reach, their normals. So if you're fighting Guile, for instance, and he does a command fierce and you activate this, oh my god, it's like he slides right at you from full screen just to hit you. It's kind of goofy looking. Armored attacks lose their hit of armor, but you retain the number of hits, so that's kind of cool. Capable of hitting at an awkward high angle behind your back. This is really rare. It's an unreliable cross-up, but it can be used against certain V reversals. So this thing has 3 different versions, and you have to be cognizant of how to use each one of them. But we'll break those down in parts below. Your V skill gains maximum of 100 hits of armor, so this is worth kind of delving into. So when you go into V skill to flex, or V skill 2 for that matter, to cancel into VT01, it's a nice way to get some damage, because you can go into VT1 A, B, or C, but you're getting damage scaling, so maybe that's not such a good idea to use. But once you're activated this, well, now you have, I guess, more time to properly decide whether or not you want to SBD them after a V skill 1. The other thing is, well, all I can do is flex and hit them. What do I get off that? Mix-ups? No. I want to say now you have a way better chance of landing critical art, because now you have 100 hits, so you can march at them with more armor instead of just 2, hit them, and then turn butter and go to critical art. So it can be kind of dangerous in that sense for the opponent. V skill loses ability to, or I guess, yeah, you can go into lots of stuffs here. Once you've activated VT01, instead of just your stand fears counter hit mediums to get the VT1 A, B, or C, those pulsed, any button will do. So low jab can go into VT1 A, B, or C. So when you think about that, it's like, well, shoot, what can I link into my low jab from? Well, we're going to see that in the map above when we just breeze through it, that your standing strong punch, if you can land it, then you can combo into a low jab, and that means VT1 A, B, or C, right? So it's like, whoa, shit, that's scary. Or counter hit medium kick, which normally you wouldn't use that much maybe, but if you can hit confirm counter hit, you can do low jab, and it has more reach. So all of his normals get enhanced by this VT1. So yeah, dangerous move. Yeah, so combos off naturally, enhancing your counter hit sequences. Overall improves Zangief's pokes, reach, and mix-up. Yep. Close lariat, activate into VT01 A, B, or C. One of the I don't know if it's a buff, but yeah, I guess it's a buff, is that if he does Lariat and he goes into VTO 1, it has an air vacuum effect, and you can actually combo into VTO 1C for the max hits, but it's not advised because of damage scaling. But you never know if you need it to carry the round. But this is for VTO series only. Once you've activated this and you do the same scenario, you won't get them to pull in from the air. It's dumb. I don't know why they did that, but oh well, it is what it is. One of the weak points of this V trigger is the V reversals. I guess it's a good nor a bad, but VT1, when you use it, you're at -6. VT1B, you're safer basically. But when people see you activate, sometimes they just V reversal you. And I think it's a good thing because they use up part of their V reversal just to get you away. And all you wanted, if you want to be, I want to say optimal, is to activate VT1 somehow, VT1A. And that kind of coincides with this little chart above here. So let me explain. This is the V gauge routes. So if you activate VTO1A, you can do VT1A, the pull, 3 more times, which is nice to do mix-ups. If you activate VTO1A, you can do VT1B. That's weird. There should be 2 of these, I want to say. Oh, you can do VT1A and then a VT1B. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. But this is basically like, how much do you have after this install, right? So you can do one VT1C after you've done a VTO1A. Yeah. If you started off with a VTO1B, well, you get 2 more VT1As, or you get 1 more VT1B. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, right. If I go this way, then I can go down. Let's see, VTO1C, you're done. You use up your whole meter. That sucks. I don't advise using it this way. If you look at the damage of VTO1A and then you go VT1C into whatever follow-ups after, typically Air, EX, SPD, and then you compare that with like 2 VT1Bs that you can combo into, I would rather opt for this one for more potential damage and to have more armor to possibly land SPD, that sort of thing. So optimal route, the most potential is to land VTO1A, you pull them in, so your meter's still dialing down. Maybe you do critical art even. Boom, lots of damage to hit confirm into it, if you're lucky. And then you have 2 uses for VT1B combos after. So what's VT1, A, B, and C? How do they work? VT1A, it's a quick pull, no damage, recovers quickly for mix-up opportunities if you hit with it, right? It's no good if the pull is blocked because you're at -6 or whatever. V reversal when blocked, whatever, they use up their gauge. I don't see that as a negative. And can be used 3 times after VTO1, right? So 1, 2, 3. Or you can use 1, 2, and then a VT1B with the last bits of it. Or you can just go, yeah, this route or this route. Lariat VT1A no longer has any air pull, so don't use that. Yeah, you can land. That's why VT1A is so good, because when you pull them in, you have more time to churn butter and land your critical art. So you can hit confirm into critical art more easily off buttons that you normally had difficulty with. So low jab into critical art, man, good luck with that. But if you got VT1A, then it's dangerous, right? VT1B held momentarily. This does 5 hits, knockdown, decent damage, tacked on to normals. Can be used a total of 2 times. Option to use VT1A before using up VT1B, right? Has more reach than VT1A, and it can throw people off. Sometimes people are like, oh, that didn't pull me in, but then later they'll be like, wait, how come that one pulled me in? So VT1B and C have more suck power, basically. You can, if they're on, okay, right, this is something to note. Why would you want to lean back using this move ever? And the reason is, this one's a bit more safe, but you can pull back so that on block you're a bit safer. But you should always opt to lean towards to ensure vacuum pull, and then you can decide to steer backwards if it gets blocked. You also want to corner carry them a bit more, right? So if you're hitting them with this, pull forward. Depends on your choice. Lariat VT1B has air pull, but no hits unless performed raw in corner against opponent and leaning towards them. Oh my gosh, totally forgot that. And then VT1C is the most popular one. I used to have damage numbers here. ZANGIEF was my first map after all, but I've decided to take those out because I want to encourage people to use these options or to explore them. Don't always just go for damage. Sometimes you want to go with other options. So VTO1C combo causes damage scaling. Does it? I can't remember. I want to say it doesn't really do that, but if you combo into it, obviously it will. Same could be said for VT1B over here. Has same reach as VT1B, except more hits resulting in juggle state. One use only, requiring 3/4 of your meter. Oh, okay, right. So you can use VT1A, or O1A, I should say, and then VT1C. Slightly lacks the juggle pull of VTO1BC, unless in corner example. Okay, whatever. So once you have them spinning up in the air, you have 9 different options towards yourself. Really? There's 9? I didn't realize there were that many. Instant area XPD. Oh, right. You can dash and then do it just to push them just a little bit further. Doesn't really matter much. It's just being skillful. Jumping command fierce towards them. I think you're +1 when you land, but I wouldn't go for that unless you want a bit more damage and just to stay close to them. You can do a standing headbutt to knock them down. Lariat, you want to dash in to do the extra 20 damage and just to stay closer. Stand fierce, oh, that's if you just want to be stylish. Or just regular stand fierce, okay. Standing roundhouse. Standing roundhouse is pretty good because it hits so high that I want to see your +12 or +9 by the time they fall down. So you can really mess with their heads. Standing knee hammer for a reset. When performed late, you can go for meaty headbutt. Okay. And V-scale march flex, but you can only do this in the corner. This is like the weakest one. I don't know why you would want to do it. It's just to be cheeky. I know I'd do it. VT2. VT2 is something else. He has 2 different ways to activate it. You can hold crouch and do it. He'll say muscle instead of harasho, which means good or very good in Russian. What does it do in a nutshell? Enhance your SPD damage. You get two attempts to try and land it, basically, but it's really potent. Sometimes you don't even want to use it. I mean, like, you can activate it, but don't bother using it because people will be jumping all the time, so you can just keep spamming lesser attacks to tag them. And this thing drains super slowly, so the other perk of this thing is you can combo into it. So if you want really good fundamentals, VT2 is an amazing place to start because you'll know your combo routes. So this thing is amazing, just like VT1. Things that you never thought about before, like I'll go back with that stand strong combo, for example. You do stand strong, crouch jab, and you do lariat, and I can't remember if it whiffs or not. But now, if you can hit confirm into it, oh, well, that low jab can combo into SPD for a lot of damage and stun. So, and because it's a 2-stock, you're more likely to be able to pull it off twice in a round. And if you can pull it off twice in a round, that means you get 2 install routes. So you can do a lot of damage. Better VTO combos. When you land your air SPD or ground SPD, you're left kind of at a neutral state. You can still kind of micro walk into another SPD if you're good enough, but once you took your damage, bam, you're golden. Move on. And I feel like people don't realize that this move isn't particularly strong. I don't mean like it isn't strong, but if you compare it to the damage that you get with VT1, it's VT1C, I should say, the air EX SPD. It's the same, but this is like, 2 meter. I want to say this is really amazing in certain ways. If you incorporate V skill 1 or 2, like if you can get a counter hit with your V skills, then you can, do a low jab into either VT2 SBD or VT1 A, B, or C. So that's the key with his V skill 1 and VT1. Whew. Where were we? So yeah, 2 shots to use it, blah, blah, blah. V skill, you guys can read this on your own if you want. Also able to combo into SBD. Right. Slightly less damage if you combo it. Depends what the combo is, right? But really you're doing about the same amount of damage, if not more stun. So I would always encourage you to try to hit confirm into this. Don't just grab willy-nilly if you can help it, but you can do more damage and more stun by incorporating it into combos, certain combos. Oh, right. This is so funny. If you do a jump in, like someone throws a fireball, you're like, okay, I jumped it, and I use my medium kick or my roundhouse, right? Remember how I said those had good range? You hit them, you land, SBD, it's a combo. So your jump in normals are enhanced as well. It's so sick. Command fears, low strong can be used to hit confirm into VT2 SBD. Okay, yeah, that's something that's mentioned above. Yeah, his command fears, you can hit confirm. His low strong, right, and low strong can be used to hit confirm. It's sick. You'll have to play around with it on your own. So basically what this means is if you do a low medium punch and it hits, wait a little bit before you turn and use the appropriate strength SBD to grab them. All versions combo off headbutt. EX does most damage. Oh, this must be the air headbutt. I should have specified. Fierce will whiff. Okay, so not all versions. Or crush counters stand roundhouse. Okay, that's cool. So you don't need to use EX air SBD if you can help it in certain scenarios. Many special whiff combos, like the Lariat, are now valid through VT2, and buttons such as low jab become more dangerous. Yeah, because it's like if you're playing footsies with someone, low jab into SBD, or low medium kick. Lariat activation allows for air SBD only. Okay. Turn off sound effects to silence the VT2 announcer. This is just aesthetics, but like, man, they really put in a lot of effort into this character's voices. They just added a whole new character. So, let's see. Oh, I didn't put in the... Oh, I did. So this is when you activate VTO2. Bursting with power. Wait, is this it? Yeah, the human cyclone's about to burst. It's happening. That attack. All this stuff. Like, they gave this guy 6 lines. If you whiff the SBD, he says like 3 different lines. If you what was it? If you do a jab version, he says something different. Here's the thing, like his SBD, every strength he says something different. When you're in VT1, every strength he says something different. If you combo into it, he says something different for each one. And then the air ones, he says different things as well. But that's not all. When he lands it, the announcer says stuff. When it's connected, he says something, and then when it lands, he says something. Holy crap. If you win with it, this is the stuff he says. Holy smokes. I have a separate video if you're interested in listening to that sort of stuff. And I'll try to remember to include it in the video description for you guys to see. Very fun. And this is the trials. I just put this in here just for the sake of completion. Some of these are obsolete. Poor thing. And here are some notable players and some thoughts. All right. So let's just go take a look at a normal each. Right. So now that you know how his special moves work, it's like, okay, cool. How can I land those special moves to do more damage? Where were we? Jumping. Okay, well, you can do these things from jumps. And the way this is structured is like, okay, you hit him with a jump move, and then you land. What's your next move? So if it's like, oh, I did a counter hit jab in the air, I land, I do a stand forward kick, so a medium kick. So I'll go to stand forward now. There it is, stand forward. Oh, I can't do anything because I need a counter hit stand forward to do any of these routes. So that route would have ended. So that's just how to read this darn thing. Yeah, what does he have for stand? Oh, stand short can't do much, can it? Let's talk about this one. You can either cancel a critical art, you can go into a special, except Thunderstorm. You can cancel the Lariat. It'll either be close or far depending on the kick range. You can combo into, because it's a special cancelable, you can now special cancel into SPD and it won't whiff, right, in VT2. Just don't use fierce version from afar. VT2 fierce close only, far others. Okay. That's kind of redundant. I must have put that in for some reason. Let's look at one example from stand jab. I choose stand jab into crouch jab. What can I do? Critical art? Probably, because I can't execute it. Or you can go into special. So what kind of VT2 can you use? Not fierce. Okay, so it's range dependent, but use jab version. So now you can just do stand jab and a crouch jab. Oh my god, into VT2 SPD. Wicked. Stand strong. Stand strong is an amazing button. Not just because it's a poke, but remember how I said, oh, you can do a stand strong into a crouch jab. If you do a crouch jab, you can go into critical art or a special move, which means VT1 stuff. This first section of the map doesn't include VT install stuff, just because at any point in time you can install it, and then I'd have to make the map bigger, right? So if you're looking for a specific button to install from, there's another map below, so we'll get there. Standing forward. Standing forward has more reach. It's a really nice poke. It's not particularly good in terms of frames as far as I remember, but if you see a counter hit sign pop up, well, that means you can crouch jab. If you can crouch jab, you can do VT1 ABC or VT2, right? So the reason I'm not putting VT1 stuff in here is because, well, VT1 stuff combos off any button, basically. So didn't want to make it too cluttered. Close fierce as opposed to far fierce? Okay. Oh, right, you can go to critical art from this. That's pretty sick. Standing roundhouse, counter hit, anti-air, highest point. Right, if there's a scenario, right, where let's say they knocked you down and you got full stock and meter, they're like, okay, this Zangief player might critical art me on wake up. I better neutral jump just in case. There's a spot where if they neutral jump above your head, obviously you can lariat them. Obviously you can EX airspeed if you're fast enough, or headbutt into EX airspeed. But if you can get it right, this stand roundhouse crush counter at the highest point above your head, you can headbutt into air XPD, and it is a doozy. It hits pretty hard. What else is there? Stand fierce. I should probably just say, like, excuse me. You got to be wary using it because it's not as good using it from full distance, max distance, because it's easily whiff punished. It's probably better to be used up close, but you want to use it just to maybe push them back to the corner or just to build up more gray life. But if that's the case, then you might as well stick with stand strong. So this button I personally don't like to use too much, but it has one hit of armor. So, and it's a crush counter button, so like you still have to incorporate it into your game somehow. Command normal standing. Oh, towards forward. Oh my god, I did this to someone and I totally forgot it would work. But yeah, if you can hit confirm into it, then you can do critical art, and it hops over. I think it hops over certain normals. I swear I get hit. But yeah, as you can see, oh, you need counter hit. Oh, except for this one to do his other routes. This one's needs to be from far knees, so max distance towards forward. Then you need to do crouch jab into critical art or special. Oh, I didn't put VT2 here. It'll probably be jab version then. It's got to be. Rats. Let's see here. Towards fierce. Man, towards fierce is amazing. I'll let you guys read that on your own time. Crouch stuff. Okay. Here, so you can see jab strong fierce, forward short roundhouse. His maps aren't particularly big, so he's fun to learn the game, to develop a sense of patience, I want to say. And the VTO matrix, oh my god. So I won't make this map super convoluted. So let's say we go with stand strong, right? Then you go into VTO. Then you can do a stand fierce. Oh, okay, so if it's a counter hit, and you go into VTO2, for instance, then you can use the stand fierce. Huh. And that means VT1. Oh my gosh. Oh no, that doesn't mean VT1. Yeah, I mean, if I got a counter hit, then I would just do VT1 A, B, or C pull. But I'd probably opt for VT1, VTO1A, just to pull them in. Save the meter for later. Okay, is that it? Stand, jab, strong, fierce. Oh, this little doozy. If you get a crush counter with a stand fierce, and then you install VTO2, why is this, oh right, why is this written like this? Fierce, VTO2, free jumping combo. Yeah, like if you hit a crush counter fierce, activate VTO2, free jumping combo, big damage, pretty sick. So that's one thing that VTO1 can't do. And yeah, let's keep going here. Darn, that makes me mad that I missed out on those clips because I actually printed off a copy. Oh well. Are these crouches? I already forgot. Crouch jab, strong fierce. Alright. I mean, crouch roundhouse you can activate into VTO2. Technically you can activate into VTO1 as well, but that's all you can do from it. You can't combo. You can't do command normals into VTOs, so that's not it. There are special moves. Right, Lariat's the only one, and V-skill 1 or 2. These are the routes. So, yeah, that's Zangief in a nutshell. I hope that was interesting. And keep in mind, like, if you go back to the map and you go like, oh, you know, you get light bulb moments when you figure out one button leads to another. So I hope you found that interesting. And we'll wrap it up from there. Take care.
The calm before the storm! Ready to it! Look, it's the red cyclone!
Muscle power volume! Under a storm! Under a storm! Move away! North now! Move up under a storm! Get it! Sonic! Muscle power volume! It can't be over! is invincible, so beware!
Round 1. Fight!
Come! 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 Come at me with more next time!
Round 2. Fight!
My iron body is invincible, so beware!
Round 1. Fight!
Hadouken! Oh yeah! Hadouken! Wait! Get!
Round 2. Fight!
Hadouken!
際どい戦いだった。
Round 3. Fight! Round 4. Fight!
Hadouken! 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 Seiya! Hadouken! Hadouken!
Muscle power volume!
Final round. Fight!
Hadouken! 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 Seiya! Come! Hadouken! Hadouken! Oh yeah! Hadouken! 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 Seiya!